Hello and welcome to another Happily Letter After tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to do 4 different types of 3D like lettering in your journals, and it's super easy, and this is something that's really fun to do and it just levels up your lettering a little bit. So let's get started. I'm going to pick a phrase. I think I'm going to do create more today. How about that? So I'm just going to do like some simple lettering, and I'm not going to worry about centering this or anything. You can if you want to, but this is just to show you how to do these 3D like effects. So let's start with our lettering. And I'm using the Tombow markers. Those are my favorite, the dual brush tips, and I love these. So let's do our first one. So actually, let's do our lettering first, and then we'll do our 3D. So for this next one that I want to show you, I'm going to do pencil actually first. And so I'm going to do the word more. And I'm going to do it as like a 3D, so if you just kind of like make block letters, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and try to draw as light as you can, because we're going to erase it. So just try your best to get as light as you can. And I love the monoline eraser. Those are my favorite by Tombow. They erase so well. Kneaded erasers are very great too. So weekly what I do is, we have 2 sermons on Sunday at church. We have a morning and an evening, and we have Wednesday night Bible study. So what I do is I letter something from each week I letter something. So I pick something that stood out to me the most in the sermon or in the Bible study, and I letter it, and then I use these techniques a lot in my journaling. And I'll show you some examples after we create this 3D lettering, these 3D lettering effects. Okay, so I'm not sure how well you could see the word more at all on here, but I'm going to be erasing very lightly. I'm just kind of lightly, loosely holding the eraser and just kind of going against it now, just to make it very, very, very faint for later when we do the 3D lettering effect on this. You'll see it'll make more sense once we get to that step, but for now, let's just kind of make it very light so we can still see it, but it's just barely there. Okay. All right, so create more. Can't remember what I said originally, but we'll do create more. How about lettering today? So let's do, I'm gonna do this purple. Or no, we could do art. Let's do art. Create more art today. All right, and I think let's use the blue. I'm gonna just like thicken this up a bit, so I'm just kind of going over and making it kind of blocky. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. This is practice. If you're doing a final piece, then I would definitely recommend taking your time and doing it well. And try to space out your letters. This one I didn't space out as well as I should have. So you have some room for 3D effects. Okay. All right, so for the first one that we're gonna do, this top one right here. So this one is super simple, and I'm not using my brush tip. I'm going to use the fine line tip. So this is just a way, like you kind of go along the edges on one side. So I tend to make all my shadows on the right side as if the light source was coming from the left. That's just how I tend to do it. You can do it whichever direction you want. So it's like from the top left, so all my shadows are on the right hand side and the bottom. So what I do is I'm going to just kind of go along like this on the edges of my letters, but I'm not touching the letters. They're just it's kind of sitting off to the side. Very thin little shadow, and in here it's kind of hard. You just do a little line. Don't have to be perfect. And so you're just kind of going along the edges here. And it gives it a really cool 3D effect. This is actually probably my favorite one, and I'll show you in my notebook in a bit that I use this one a lot because it's just super simple to do, and especially if you don't have a lot of room. And it's really good for when you're doing you know, calligraphy pieces like this, because it's so easy to just have it like that and have it pop. Okay, the second one we're gonna do now, the reason why we erased our letter is because it's going to be kind of a hint that the word is there, but you can't really see it, but you'll see the 3D shadow of it. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing kind of like what we did here. We're doing the brush tip. And this pen that I have is the number 850. It's like almost like a nude skin color type of a color, and it's really nice for this effect, and the gray is really nice too. I love this N95. This gray is awesome. I love it so much. So what I like to do is I like to go along the edges just like I did here. So where you have your pencil marks, just kind of look and do the same kind of thing. Like if you're doing a piece, I would not change your shadows up. It's going to look really weird if you do. If you have your shadows coming from the opposite direction, it'll just look kind of odd. So whatever you choose for your piece, stick with that for your entire piece. Otherwise, it's just not going to make sense, and it'll get the viewer confused. And you're going to be like, why does my piece look odd to me? So just go along each. There. So you get that subtle hint that the word more is there. Now, you can either leave your pencil marks there or you can erase them completely. And I'll show you what it looks like when you erase it completely. It's almost abstract. It's kind of neat. It's like it's being pushed out of the paper itself. So obviously where your marker is, it's not really going to erase very well. So, but again, this is a practice piece. So see how you get that hint that more is there. You can still read it, and it's I just love this effect. It's so cool. It's different, unique, and I have not taught this actually, so this is my first time teaching it to you guys. Okay, so we have a couple more that we're gonna do, and actually what I'm gonna do is I should have done this art kind of similar to this. I'm going to thicken it up a lot actually. This is better on regular text like this than it is on calligraphy, but it's actually good that I did this because then you can really see what it's going to look like. But yeah, some of these work better on thicker, the thin ones, thin lettering, that works the best. So this is what I'm going to do with this one, and this is super easy. It's very similar to what we just did. It's going to be where we are outlining, but we have our letters here still. So I'm using that gray, that N95, and it's so subtle. It's so nice. It almost as if it's not there. I don't know if you could see it on the screen, but it's very, very, very subtle, and it's super nice. It's like an actual shadow. It's a very, very soft shadow. And it's picking up a little bit of this purple because I just did it, so and I'm real close to it, so yeah, be careful. Try not to get your brush too close to your color because it'll start to pick up the color. Although it is kind of nice because then it really kind of blends with that shadow a bit. But if you want to keep your brush tip clean. You just want to hug the letters like that. And we can do, I'll just do it along the entire edge of the bottom there. There, so I'm not sure how much you can see of it. I'll bring it a little bit closer to see. But you can kind of see that the word art has that nice light gray. Okay, and then for our last one, I am going to stick with this light gray, and we're doing kind of a double shadow, so we're kind of combining these two together. So I'll show you what I mean. So first we're going to go and we're going to do the under areas here, doing that gray outline. Just do it all on all the letters here. You see I kind of ran out of room here, so it's going to look a little odd, sorry, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so we got our gray. Now I'm going to grab a different color. I'm going to grab green because that's fun. So let's do this green, the 173 if you're trying to follow along color-wise. And I'm going to use the smaller tip again. So I'm literally going to go right along the edge of the gray. I'm not going on the outside of the gray. I'm going on the edge of the gray. So you're just tracing the edge that you had just done. But don't touch your blue because it'll look a little odd if you do. Just kind of go along and let it hang there. Although this one, it's kind of behind that A, so it's okay if it touches there just because we accidentally made it too close. It happens. It happens. I write small and I write really close together, and I'll show you my notebook in a minute. There. So this is 4 different ways to create 3D lettering very easily in your notebook. As you can see, it did not take us that long, and it was very easy to do, very fun to do, and it's very experimental too. So I would definitely experiment and see what kind of styles you can come up with, and just have fun with it. But let me show you my notebook. So I got this journal. This is a Archer and Olive journal, and I just love it, love it, love it. So let me get to some of my more recent. So let's see. Sorry, I have lots and lots of pages, lots and lots of notes. So I write really tiny, as you can see, really tiny and really close together. So this is all my sermon journaling, and so my first piece that I did in this notebook to go along with the sermon notes, the midst of chaos, God creates order. So I did that subtle gray shadow, and then I did that outline like we did here, and you'll see that that's my favorite. See, I did it again here on prosperity. I somewhat did something like that here. I got inspired by something I saw on Pinterest. Pinterest is great for inspiration. And And see, here's that shadow we just did that on today, the double shadow outline. And then I did a bunch of that one here, that first one we did. And this one, I was thinking about showing you guys this one, but my white gel pen, I'm still on the hunt for a really good white gel pen because mine does not like to write on top of color very well, and I've been searching, haven't found one I completely liked yet. So if you guys have any experience with great ones, drop it in the comments. I'd love to know what you use if you have a good one. But yeah, basically what I did to make this is I did it in pencil. I always do my stuff in pencil, as you can see some of the pencil outlines. And so I wrote can't in pencil, and I forgot to put the apostrophe, oops. And then I just did the blue all around it just to fill it in, and then I did the white on top. And then here's more of that outline, and then I did an outline just around, but that's not 3D, it's more just outline. You can tell I really like this one because I feel like it's so subtle and simple, and it goes with everything. I ran out of room on here when I was writing, so let's see. Oh yes, and then last week I did that outline. So that was actually my first time doing the outline, and I loved it, and I just thought I had to share. But of course I did it with filled in letters, which you could do, but I really like how this looks. I love that it pops. It's very subtle, it's clean, it's kind of peeking out at you. It's different. So again, have fun with it and experiment. And if you do experiment with this, with these different styles, I'd love to see what you create. So share with me on Instagram, tag me at BlackRose613. Use our hashtag Wonder Wednesday projects, and I'd love to see what you're doing and comment on it. Thank you so much. Until next time, guys. Take care.